Well, well, well. I left the vote up to you guys and it looked like 4 has edged out 1. So number 1 will be next, but we're tackling number 4 first. So we'll have a better in-depth look at it now. We'll just get it to focus. Alright. So starting with the colour bars. There's one clear one up here which is nice and crystal, but it sits on top of this darker potch, which is kind of nice. The darker potch itself has a little bit of a flash in the right angle, if I can find it. There it goes. I saw it there for a second. So even the dark potch has a bit of a blue flash in it. But up here you can see a little colour bar mixed in with this white sand. So you can see that there's little bits of opal sticking up out of it, and that's also fairly coloured as well. And the exciting thing about this colour bar up here, even though it is mixed in with the sand, there's quite a bit of red-orange in it. So there you can see that it's this orange-yellow that flashes up. And it is pretty consistent, it is all the way around. But the problem is that there's a lot of sand cutting into it. I mean, that channel runs deep, meaning that this part here will be useless. All of this is covered, and it's less of a cap and more of a kind of really well distributed sand. So what we will do is we will carve this back and we will see if we can resurrect anything, because that's a really nice colour bar if you can get that sitting on this potch as well. It would make for a very unusual two-sided piece. This side isn't all fun and games either. This one's a bit complicated. So we've got these huge chunks of sand that go right in there. So there is a chance that that corner will have to just be completely lost and cut back just because of that. But look at that colour, this bright deep green blue crystal. And with that potch backing it, it's going to look really nice if it can just sit. We've also got this sand that's a little bit annoying, but it seems like it'll come out pretty easily, and it's on a sharp edge of a piece anyway, which I'm going to carve off. So we'll carve that off, see if we can round out a lot of this sand just here. And yeah, it's a complicated piece. It should be a fun piece to carve. We could end up with absolutely nothing, though I highly doubt it. I reckon this part here will still be pretty good. Or yeah, we could end up with a two-sided stone with beautiful flashes of blue-green on one side, and who knows, maybe a multicolored pattern on the other side. We can hope for the best, cross our fingers, start up the Dremel, and we'll see what we end up with. If this sand does seem to be very patchy, I might even try to carve it in a way that we try to retain as much as possible. But we end up with a really wild and weird shape, because sometimes that looks just as good. I think for this piece, it's really important that we get a starting weight. So I reckon we're going to lose a large amount of this. So there we go. If we're starting at almost 5.7, I reckon we're going to end up with a 1 carat stone, maybe even less, just because of the sheer amount of sand that's just chewed out at this piece. But with opal, there's only really one way to find out for sure. There's no magic solution. We're just going to have to get the Dremel out, and we're going to start carving away and see what we can do. Think our way through this piece. There's not much more thinking I can do here at this point in time. So look at that colour bar under there. Not a lot of thinking I can do. So let's just get into it, start slow, start careful, and cross our fingers. Well, we've had a crack with the diamond and it's not looking great. It's pretty much exactly what I thought would end up happening, and we'd end up just getting that small stone out of this section here. So over here we've still got sand going all the way through to the other side. So what I'll do there is probably just draw us a line down here, give it a quick snip. A snip, because there's a little bit of colour there, which might be, I don't know, I might make use of that chip somewhere down in the future. I don't know, it might just be hoarder's mentality, but we're going to do it anyway. So saw just down here, keep this main stone. You can see on the other side, the orange bar that we saw really hasn't survived at all. There's still sand, and there was a small, I can't remember where it is now. There you go. So there's still a small flash of orange just under that piece of sand there, but it's gonna be gone. What I haven't really looked at is that purple flash that we're seeing here in that potch. Whether that faces well or not will be the next question. It seems to be in line though with that bottom edge there, so I'm not going to carve all of this away just to get to that, because then we're just going to end up with a crystal with no backing potch. So you can see here there's this flash of green. So there's a green-blue kind of colour bar somewhere in there, but it's really diffuse. It's hard to see. If I just dunk this in some water, because we're looking at it dry, it's going to be a bit more obvious. So you can see there's the blue just at the bottom of the crystal layer, but that there's also a bit of green in this bottom layer over here if I can get it in the right position, which I don't seem to be able to at the moment. And yeah, there's a sneaky tiny little bit of orange left on the bottom, which will disappear quite quick. So yeah, a little bit unfortunate, but really I was expecting only to get this nice stone out of the top here, and it still looks like we're on track for that. Got a nice chip over here. I'll cut that off and save it. And yeah, by the time I get rid of some of this sandy stuff on the bottom here, I'll bring this edge in a little bit more, because there's still some sand throughout that. There's still a little bit of sand on top here, but I decided to pull up at this point and just give a recap. And yeah, it's still possibly going to be a really nice piece with that there. There's that green flash in the potch. I don't think that's going to face on the bottom, because if it were, I should be seeing it in this window here already. And there's a tiny hint of something over there, but that might be part of this orange colour bar kind of thing that's going to disappear. I wouldn't call it a colour bar, it was just a smattering of colour. Bit unfortunate, but yeah, I'll be carving back down to about here, leave a thin layer of this potch on the back just to keep this knot from going full crystal. Though it might be worth going full crystal, I'm not sure yet. See, that's really tempting. There's that orange glow in there too. I don't know. We're gonna hit this a little bit more and see if we uncover anything. But apart from that, we're gonna just slice Nova tips, get the last of this dirt and dust away, and polish off the, well, not polish off, but smoothen up the back. It's still pretty uneven, attacked with the diamond bit. And we'll see what we end up with. Hopefully one nice stone and a little chip over here. But yeah, I'll slice that off and let's get going. Cue the sad music. Actually, the birds outside are chirping off their heads, so they're having a great time. Did the quick little slice, so nice little colourful piece cut off here. Dunk it in some water. I don't know, might look cool in a chip jar or something. Not a lot of use, but we'll keep it. Now, the main piece. So you saw me carving away, and it does look like a nice little piece from the top here. The problem is that sand inclusion that I forgot to talk about, but I'll just flash up some pictures now. Yeah, the sand inclusion was huge, and it's still huge. So you can see that there's a bit of a gouge out there. It's really loose sand. That was just a matter of scraping it through. It's like beach sand, just real grainy, easy to remove. I noticed some of it was coming out in the water just as I was soaking it. Yeah, not great. The flash that we could see in the potch doesn't seem to be showing up too well on the bottom, so the bottom face is kind of going to be a bit of a write-off. It's definitely not a two-sided stone with two different patterns on each side, which is a shame. The top pattern is really nice, but the problem is that because it's a crystal, look at that. You can see it, it's like a tooth cavity. It's just this huge sand inclusion, well now semi-hollowed out inclusion. But look at that ominous shadow in that back corner. That really sucks. That really sucks. I've got a small chip over here, still to get rid of. But yeah, if you look at it just like this, great. Like this, really sucks. So the options are now, I might leave it here, but I'll have to have a think. I might just slice that off completely and just get a small ring stone. It'll be a really small stone though. It might even have to just be a companion stone for a pendant of some sort, because look at that colour, it's a really nice stone. This is already drying out. But if I give it a fresh wetting, look at that. It's a really nice rub at this point. It's just sad to see this from the front and back. The trouble with crystal opal, guys. Anything on the back, if it's clean and clear enough, then you see right through to the back and anything in between. So there is that. I am thinking that I could slice this down maybe in that kind of direction. I could get a small oval out of here and then have a little bit of a smaller stone here. So yeah, this one's going to take some thinking. So we'll leave it here. I would have liked to have got a finished stone, but when I think about everything I've been doing over the last couple of weeks, I haven't had a real dud with a piece of sand in it yet. And this one isn't a dud by any means. I can cut this out, I can make a small stone here, or I could make, I could carve it into a weird shape, but the depth and stuff is really weird. So I think I might get a small stone here, and end up with two smaller stones rather than one nice big stone. That would have been really good. I could have shaped that to be a nice ring stone. There's my hobbit finger. Nice ring stone. But instead they're going to have to be chopped up into two smaller companion stones. Maybe a set of earrings. If I can cut it down the middle and maybe make a pair. I might think about that actually, because I can round off that edge then and maybe get two teardrops. I'll probably have to get the stencils out. You never see me use stencils on the channel because I like to do a lot of this real beginner stuff, but I do have stencils and stuff that I can use. And I think that's probably the most likely. Two small ovals or two small teardrops, maybe as companion stones or as earrings. They'll be really small earrings though, so I might have to find a nice setting for them. It won't just be a simple claw setting. Maybe there's some wire wrapping I can do there. But yeah, unfortunately, that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Even in grade 3 rough from NN Opals, sometimes you can get a little bit of a dud. I will say, however, that I've gotten started on the runner-up selection, number 1, stone number 1, the crystal, and it is coming out a lot better. So that'll be the next video. Stay tuned for that, but yeah, this one I think we're going to pull up short, call it quits here, and hopefully revisit this in the future, and I might have come up with something good. Maybe I'll even record it if I do decide to go the 2 stones sliced down the middle pathway. I'll probably record it for the channel, just because it's already featured once anyway. So yeah, unfortunate, but let's just move on to the next one and keep on trucking. See ya.